Live. Let's go.
Yeah, good people. I'm Isaac Adu, and I'm very excited joining you for the year 2019. I think we are about just a week through, and the Ghanaian public space is awash with a lot of what people are describing as wild prophecies. Some are prophesying that some of the top leaders in our country are going to die, and this has caused a lot of what I'll describe as pandemonium and chaos, so to say, with some of the Muslim youth going on. One prophet, Osu Bempa, destroying stuff at his church premises, and some of us here are domiciled here in Europe and Germany for that matter, but we still have a take in it so far as Ghana is our motherland. And luckily for me, I have with me a man of God. That is how I'll put it, the head Bishop of Christ Charismatic Church here in Hamburg, in the person of Bishop Collins Edu Boahene. Bishop, nice having you.
Thank you for having me today.
Yeah, Bishop, the Ghanaian public space, as I did indicate, is awash with a lot of prophecies. Some are saying it is tongue wagging. Others too are saying it is very deadly. Why do you prophesy that people will die and not necessarily prophesying about good things, good tidings, so to say? What is your take on these prophecies?
Thank you very much, Mr. Isaac. In the first place, let me say a very big shout to your viewers. I would say one need to be awake. One need to be awake. Such things actually is not happening, I would say, from one reason or the other. And I haven't heard any news, I haven't listened to anything, but for my opinion, why should we always put fear in the lives of the community? And immediately we start this fear of you are going to die, you are going to die, you are going to die. Believe me, the nation will be very static. There won't be any movement because we can't even plan ahead, we can't plan future. If I'm going to die today, what's the sense of me planning for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years? So I would say that one needs to be extra careful of using the word prophecy. If we say prophecy, that is where many times people get it wrong. Prophecy is the voice of the Lord. That says the Lord. And one need to be very careful about that says the Lord. Because God never lies. If this prophecy never comes to pass, then it means it is not rather God who is saying. Man can predict once it doesn't come from God. So if you have your predictions, don't force God into it. So anytime when we come to the prophecy aspect here, one need to be very careful. If it is that says the Lord, then none of us, absolutely nobody here on this earth, can turn that says the Lord. But if it is not from the Lord, according to the book of James chapter 1 verse 3, says those that teach and those that prophesy, they are going to be judged.
Yeah, but a quick interjection here. What they are saying is that all that they have been prophesying about is something which is coming from the glorious one and not something which is coming from they themselves. If I may use Prophet Osu Bempa, for instance, he was captured on one of the networks saying it is something which is coming from God and not something which is coming from him. It is not a figment of his own imagination or whatsoever. Okay. That is what he is trying to say.
Okay. Then if it is coming from a servant of God and he is saying that is from the Lord, then let us live to see. We have 365 quarter days. If it is not from the Lord, I'm using if as a conditional clause here. If it is not from the Lord, then when the year comes to an end, then I will personally say that very servant of God that says that God says, because God is not an author of confusion. God is not a liar. Anything from the Lord must come to pass. If God says that you are going to die, you will definitely die. Nothing of man can stop it. If not even today, tomorrow you will go. And I don't know the age rate and the class of people that the so-called prophecies is coming to them, either from the layman or the prominent people or the strategic people in the system that these prophecies are being directed to, or the people that are insignificant in the community that these prophecies are being directed to. But one just need to be extra careful about such prophecies. If you say it is from the Lord, then one need to be very careful. I personally have fear, because any word that you say that it is from the Lord and it's from the Lord, you stand for it one day.
The prophecies are directed, as you say, people who hold high positions in office, or people who have in one time or the other held higher positions in office. If I may use a former president before, for instance, I think he is about 80 years now, and the chief imam is also about 100 years now. And these were people who were captured in the prophecy of Prophet Owusu Bempah, that they will definitely die.
Oh, if a man of 80 years die even tomorrow, I think it's a blessing of the Lord.
But he does not see it as such. He sounded a word of caution that they should pray.
If we don't pray, then such people will die.
Yeah.
If a man attains 80 years, our long living here on this earth is 70. If you get the 80, the 10 is just a blessing. So if you prophesy that an 80 years man is going to die, to me it is not a news. Because it can happen even right now. What about even a newborn child that never existed, that never came to this world, and he died in the womb? So if somebody has lived 365 1/4 days by 80, and you prophesy that this person is going to die, to me it's not a news. It's not something new.
So what about that which was directed at the Vice President Alhaji Bawumia, Dr. Bawumia, that he is also going to die? I think he is not up to 80 years.
That's right. That's right. And these things are, I will say, there are a lot of energies in the air. We need to be very careful. Right from Genesis chapter 1, verse number 28. God never cursed the man. Man was blessed. It is never intention of God that God cut the short life of somebody. And we need to be very optimistic in especially the new year that we are entering. I will please beseech all your viewers that they need to be extra careful. They should speak positive things, because there are so many energies in the air. There are so many spirits. There are so many powers. When we profess all the time negative words, we give credit to the enemy to capitalize on it, and anything at all can happen. And as I can call this one a prophecy, I can call it maybe a prediction. If an 80 years man died, you are just predicting. It's not that says the Lord.
So these prophecies which has triggered some confusion, what will be your message to the people in the country, particularly the youth and the Muslim youth, so to say, who have charged? What will be your message?
Oh, I'll please beseech you by the message of God in the name of Allah that they should relax and let their heart be at peace, because we have only one giver of life and one taker of life. If it is not your time, there's no human being here on this earth that can call you to come and rest. But if it is your life, definitely you will go. And as the Islamic religion even teaches, if a man of 80 years die, it's a blessing. And in the Islamic religion, they do believe that even if you die now, at the age of 10, 5, 20, it is a blessing of going to rest eternally with the Lord. So death is not something that we need to be afraid of. As a matter of fact, the best companion that we move every blessed day with in our life is death. If you look at your shoulder here, there's a shadow that you don't see. It is death that follows all of us. But if it is not yet your time, nobody here in this world can call you, because you have only one giver of life and one taker of life. I'll please beseech the youth that they should keep their calm. They should relax and allow God to take control over the situation. If the chief imam, as you rightly said, is going to die, it's a blessing. They need not to be afraid and stop any riot, because it will help. It will help them themselves. And we need not to soil the name of Christianity in the name of prophecy. What do I gain if I say this and it come to pass? All should be to the glory of God. So that is what personally I can say in council of the youth, the Islamic youth, that they should keep their calm. and let the will of Allah be done. Let the will of Allah be done.
Yeah, it's a pleasure speaking with you, Bishop Collins Boahene of Christ Charismatic Church CCC here in Hamburg, Germany. And he is saying death is inevitable. It is something which is definitely bound to happen. So whatever the problem there in Ghana, the prophecies that are coming, we should keep our calm. God is in control of everything. That is what is coming from the man of God. Meet you some other time. It's been a pleasure again speaking with you.
Nice
Bishop
having
Collins
you. God will bless you.
Yeah. Lovely people. Catch you some other time. Ciao.
Hope it, Mama says you want to come and take some.